Welcome back, everybody, to Tulum Magazine, the show where we talk to movers and shakers here in Tulum and those who have been transforming their lives with travel. And I'm really excited for you to meet Alex Bass. Welcome.
Thank you, Yoli. I'm excited to be here. Like, I'm a little nervous, child.
Oh, you are fine. This is family.
Yes,
family.
Yes.
So I always say, if I had come back in another life, I would want to have your job. I think you have the best job in the world. So tell folks a little bit about your background, what you do.
Yes. So born and raised in New Orleans, and I work in the music industry, producing events, mostly music festivals, dealing a lot on the artist side, doing artist relations, and then a lot of the actual like technical production as well. So stage managing and production managing and just helping putting all the pieces together and, you know, all the things that people don't know that happens in the background, you know.
Yeah.
All the things that really make the show happen, like the stage and the lights and the audio and, you know,
amazing.
all that good stuff.
You know, I just love to see a woman of color in that role. And we're going to talk about Tulum, but just for if there's any young girls watching this show, I just want them to understand, like, how do you get an amazing job like that? How did you find yourself in that field?
You know, it just kind of happened. Like, when I graduated high school, I went to school. I was like pre-farm because it was like, that's what you do. You go to school to make money, to get out of the environment that you grew up in. It was never like, oh, I want to be a pharmacist. Like, no, I just went because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And then eventually I realized I had no interest in that. And then I switched to like...
So wait a minute. You went to school to become a pharmacist?
That's how I started.
Really?
Yeah. But I didn't make it to pharmacy school.
Okay.
But like that was the goal.
Yeah.
And then I switched to, what was it, computer science, because like I am technically savvy, you know. And I was like, and then like I switched to mass comm. But it all happened because I had a friend at the time whose father was in the industry, and we had a radio station at Dillard, and he had his own like radio show. And he was really big into like heavy metal and rock music, and he would find these bands that were coming through New Orleans, and he would get them to come to our school, our HBCU, and come and he would interview them. And I would go and like hang out with them in the studio, and it was a blast. And in the mass comm building, the radio studio is kind of like this, so like when you're walking down the hall you can see, so it'd be like us and like
what's happening.
All these like white guys with tattoos and piercings all over the place, and people like, what's happening in there? And we would just be having a time. So he kind of introduced me into like just the different aspects of music. And at the time, Essence Festival was being produced by a local production company, and they actually had internships at the time. My friend was like, come do this internship with me, and I was like, okay, I guess. And I fell in love. And that same year I did Voodoo Fest, which was also run by the same company, and I was like, okay, I think I like this. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Today there's not really internships in the industry, but I urge, you know, all of, you know, the young BIPOC young people to just, if you want to do it, just go for it. Because they need more of us in these spaces, because there's not, you know. And I want to make sure I'm paving a way for young people of color to be in this business, because a lot of this business is us. You know, like a lot of these artists, they look like
on the performance side. So they need more of us on the back end.
Correct. And I also feel like there's just a lot of jobs that people don't know exist. So I'm a huge advocate of like letting people know, like, you don't just have to be the artist or the rapper or the dancer. You can be a rigger, you can be a lighting designer, you can be a front of house engineer or a monitor engineer, you know, you can be a carpenter. Like there's all these different aspects of production that I think the young kids don't really know about. And so they miss out on these opportunities because we're not in those spaces normally.
Well, you are.
Yes.
I love watching your Instagram. Every time I know you're going away for work, I'm like, okay, I got to see what, I just saw when you were at Broccoli
City in DC. Yeah.
That looked like so much fun.
It was a good time.
It sounds like you are not afraid to take chances.
To an extent.
Okay.
Yes. And it's interesting because like I'm a Cancer. I'm very I'm true to my Cancerian sign. I'm very emotional and I'm like this hard shell on the outside of a baby and the inside is mushy. Okay. I'm boo-hooing. I'm crying in the corner. I'm like my emotions are all over the place. So you would think someone like that isn't really trying to take chances or being accustomed to change. But I kind of grew into that because I have like this very adventurous side to me, and I grew up a little sheltered, and I just feel like I've always just wanted to like know more.
Yeah.
Like what's happening over there? What's going on over there? So, taking risk is kind of been a part of my life. Part of my adult life.
I'm a Cancer too, and it doesn't mean we're not scared, but we still go for it.
Yeah.
So speaking of over there. Tell me about the first time you heard about this place called Tulum.
It's funny because I really don't think I heard about it until 2020.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, I came here for my 25th birthday. I just celebrated my 35th birthday. So 10 years ago, I actually came to Mexico for the first time for my 25th birthday, and I went to Playa del Carmen. And even then, I didn't know about Tulum.
Yeah.
And so in 2020, I actually moved to New York from New Orleans, and I was like, I need to get out of here. And I moved thinking like, okay, this is the next step in my career, and like I can meet more people and network. There's more opportunity, and of course, little did we know we would be inside for a year. But it was the right move for me at the time.
Yeah.
And so my birthday comes around in July, and I'm like, I gotta get out of this house. And I'm like, the only place that's open is Mexico.
Right.
So of course I'm like on the social media, and I'm like, Tulum, what is this? And so I booked a flight.
Yeah.
And I came solo, and
what was your first impression?
It was, well, first I was just excited.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, I'm at the house. Like, I'm about to go to the beach. Like, give me like a margarita. Like, what's up? And it was fine. Like, I wasn't like afraid. I did have a little moment of like anxiety. Because if I recall correctly, I think I booked Airbnb in La Valletta. Yeah. And as we know now, like the roads and things aren't great. So even in 2020, crazy. There still wasn't as much infrastructure as there is now, because things have just gone crazy. Yeah. But I was like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna embrace this. This is like a little suspect, but it's all right. And it was fine. Everything was fine. And I rented a car, and I met people along the way, and it was one of the best birthdays I've ever had. And how long was your trip? So my trip was only maybe 4 days or something. Yeah. And then I extended it for a few more days. Yeah. Because I needed to get back. Funds were limited. Obviously I wish I could have just stayed. Tell me, why did you extend it? Well, for one, obviously, I feel like a pandemic played a big role in that, but in just wanting to be around people and be outside. Yeah. But I just felt good. Yeah. I felt free, and I was happy. Yeah. I felt happy in the midst of all, just all of the sadness and just all the horrible things that were happening in the world. I had this little moment of just peace and and it was great. And then I went back to being inside, and I was like, okay. And in New York, you were based where? In Woodside, Queens. Okay. Yeah. So in back Queens. To your shoebox, or were you living? No, I actually very grateful. A really good friend of mine has a home there, so and anytime I would go to New York, even for work or just to hang out, I would always stay in her place. So we had a nice house, you know, we have a backyard, we have a washer and dryer.
You were one of the fortunate ones.
Yes. But it was still, you know, a few of us in the house.
Yeah.
So very grateful for the space that we had, but we're still stuck inside with each other for 10 months, you know? So, but we had a great time. But when, you know, you just kind of, you want your own space.
Yeah.
At some point.
So at what point did the idea of moving here?
So that didn't come around until 2022.
Yeah.
So came in 2020 for my birthday.
Yeah.
Had such a great time. I came back in 2021.
Okay.
And same thing happened. This time I came with one of my really good friends.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. And then I drove her to the airport and I came back. I was like, I think I'm going to stay a few more days.
What? You mean you were supposed to leave?
Yes. I drove her to the airport and then came back. So I drove all the way to Cancun, dropped my friend off, extended the car, and then came back and stayed for 3 days. And I swear it felt like one.
Yeah.
Like it was gone so fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. It's like, wait, I just extended it. I had to go back already.
So I just want to get into your headspace for a second. Okay. So had you already made the decision?
No.
So are you like driving and I'm like, am I gonna stay?
Oh no. That happened like maybe the night before we were supposed to leave.
Yeah. And you're like,
and
I think I'm gonna.
Yeah. I'm like, I was out with my friends who I met in 2020.
Yeah.
The owners of the Asian Bodega.
Yeah.
Hunter and Julio. And Hunter was
So I didn't know you met them the first time you came out.
I met Hunter the first time because I took myself to a birthday dinner at Heartwood, and he was like the lead server there at the time, and he had been working there for years since he moved here.
Yeah.
And like he came and sat with me. He had a shot with me.
Aww.
And he invited me to Cozumel. He was like, "Come meet me and my friends in Cozumel," and I was like, "Okay." And mind you, I just met him.
Yeah, like. Why? Okay, let's just talk about that for a minute, because like I noticed that friendships happen really fast.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's just as a byproduct of your traveling and you're out here and it just accelerates everything. But in Tulum, it just feels like you kind of make decisions about people really quick.
Yeah, I mean it's the energy.
Yeah,
it's the energy exchange, and you can feel when people are just like genuine. And I'm very like extroverted. So like I love to meet new people. I love to travel. Like most of my travels, if I'm not working, the majority of them I'm traveling solo. So like I love that. And he was just like really nice. He had a good vibe, and he was telling me his story. And like he's from Atlanta, and he's like, "Come hang out with us." And I was like, "Okay, stranger danger, let's go." Like I was all for it, and I did. And I met them at an all-inclusive, some random all-inclusive, and we partied like crazy people, and we had the best time.
So that was the first time.
That was 2020.
So 2021, you reconnect with them.
I reconnect with them, then I bring one of my best friends, and we have a blast. And then she has to go back for work, and I was like, well, I don't really have to go back today. So I was like, I'm gonna bring you to the airport. And like I changed my flight for like maybe like I don't know, $30-40 or something, and I came back, and then then it was
so you
over.
stayed a few days.
I stayed a few extra days. Yeah.
Okay. So at what point do you decide? Because you've been going back and forth.
Yeah.
And pre-COVID, were you always working remote?
No.
Like would this have been possible pre-COVID?
No, because of I was in a transition.
Yeah.
So I was living in Charlottesville prior to that.
Yeah.
I was the assistant production manager for a music venue. So like I was like in
so you were fixed. Yeah.
And I did like, a few events here and there, but like my main gig was the venue.
Yeah.
So pre-COVID, no. And then after that I left Charlottesville for many reasons.
Yeah.
And I went home and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go home and regroup. And I ended up being there for 1.5 years and not much was happening, and my mental was being affected by that, which is why I was like, I need to go to New York. So pre-COVID, probably not.
Right.
No.
So now you are here for the second time, and how is it that you've decided, like at what point did you decide I'm going to make this a home base?
2022.
Okay.
I come back a third time.
Okay.
For my birthday.
Yeah.
And the boys are like, okay, you serious? Like, you here? I was like, I told
here
you.
again?
Like, yes, I'm here again. And this time I booked an 18-day trip.
Okay. Because
I knew I was going to want to stay for a long time.
Yeah.
And I had the means at the time to plan something like that. So rented a car, flew into Cancun, drove to Valladolid, stayed there, took myself to Chichen Itza because I had never been. Then I did one day in Holbox, and then I drove to Tulum, and then I stayed the rest of the time here.
Yeah.
And I was like, something clicked.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it clicked. And so I sat on it for a while because this is July, right? And then I make the actual move in October. So from July to October, I'm like sitting on nerves, you know, debating how am I going to tell my family? How am I telling my friend that I'm moving out? Am I really doing this? Is this the right decision? Because I had all these just emotions about it.
Yeah.
And I was afraid. And then I was like, well, if I'm afraid, for me, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
When you're scared to do something, you should probably do it, you know? Like, you don't know what's going to come out on the end of it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of work on myself at the time, just like, you know, mentally and emotionally. And I was like, I think this would be good for me. I was like, just do it.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work, you can just come back.
Exactly.
you can come back.
So what's it like living in Tulum? Because you are one of the people who's like, I am going to the beach.
Yes.
Okay? You're like always trying to get your beach time.
Yes, I am a Cancer through and through. Take me to the pool, take me to the cenote, take me to the beach.
Water. Where's the water
Where
at?
is the water?
What's it like living in Tulum?
I love it. It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
And I think the general consensus, as we all know, like, yes, it's more expensive. Obviously, it's a tourist destination. You know, there's the gringo tax and all of that. So it's a little tricky. Like, I prefer having a car. Yeah. Like, so when I come, I try to rent a car for as long as I can, but that gets expensive. Otherwise, I'm on my little bicycle, child, and it's hot. Okay? You know, the taxis, you know, you got to haggle with them. You know, it's always a situation with them. But that's just the small things we deal with to be able to live how we want and to live in a beautiful place like this. And these locals are, you know, they accept us in. Like, we're in their home. This is their country, and we're here taking up space. Yeah. And, you know, I'm grateful. Yeah. I love it. I do. It's hot though, child. I know it's hot, especially August. It's a lot for me. I was getting a little warm.
I want to get down to the nitty gritty, because you have a chance to work in many cities. You've lived in, you know, New York is easily one of the most best cities to live in, though. You know,
it's amazing, but it's Yoli. If you're not the 1%, child, I don't know how people make it. I don't. Right. I do not.
So is that a part of the appeal of Tulum, or is there something else? Because, you know, like, you could be in D.C., you could be in New Orleans, you could be in Atlanta, you could be in Los Angeles, you could be...
It's funny, because I don't want to live in any of those places.
Okay, so tell me, what is it about Tulum?
It's a vibe, Yoli. It's a vibe. And you just feel... Like, when I'm here, I feel good. I feel at peace. I feel like I can think clearer. Like, I can hear my thoughts, you know, much more clear. Yeah. It's not so cloudy. It's not loud, you know. And it's calm, and it makes you like sit and like just appreciate like what you have. And there's also a lot of lessons here, you know, and I've grown a lot here. I feel good. Yeah. And that's sometimes that's enough. That's enough. And which is why I felt like I would always come back. And obviously just the community.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much I needed that.
Yeah.
Too. So like meeting you and Shauna and all these like amazing, like beautiful Black women who have like are on this journey but in different ways, like that has been just that has been amazing for me. Like I can't even tell you, like I could cry talking about it because it's so special. It's so special, and I didn't realize how much I needed that. So yeah, I feel good, and also I can actually afford to live. And just sometimes, because there are days I'm like, I'm like,
we're gonna have to figure it out.
But I cannot live like this in New York City.
Yeah.
I can't. And I love New York. Like I love the city. I like to go out. I like to go to parties. I like to go to the bar.
Yeah.
I love me a Michelin star. I love me a food truck. And I love all of that excitement of the big city. But it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
It's really not.
I mean, and who's to say that we have to give anything up? Yeah. I mean, it's like now you've got your home base.
Yeah.
You know, you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
You're still working and thriving in your career.
Yeah.
You know, so who's to say that we have to give anything up, right?
Yeah.
You know, people know Tulum can be a place where you can turn up, but there's also a real spiritual side.
Yes.
Have you participated in anything? You know, you can do combo, bufo, temescal, ayahuasca, mushrooms, Reiki. I mean, the list goes on and on. Are you, do you partake? Any experiences you want to share?
Yeah. So, again, this has all been a journey for me. Like, everything's a journey for us. It's a never-ending journey. I've definitely grown more, like, spiritually. Like, I grew up in the church. Like, I was very into church when I was younger. But as I got older, like, I've shied away from, like, religion as a whole. But we know that there's more.
Yeah.
You know, you can feel it. But yeah, I partook in a temescal. I did two, actually. I was very
you've
proud
done
of
two?
myself. I did two.
Whoa.
So the first one was Shauna put it together, and I was like, you know what? Let me try. Like, I'm in a space with like women I trust who like have good energy, that I feel comfortable around, and I feel safe around them. So I was like, let me try this experience out once for them. And I don't know what made me do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of had like, I was struggling. Like I had to get out during like one of the doors.
Maybe for folks who don't know, just describe a little bit about what the experience is like.
It's like a cleansing experience. So basically you're in this, just imagine an igloo but made out of stone.
Right.
And then in the center there's a hole. And they put hot volcanic stones in the middle, and then they put water on it with like herbs, and then they bless the space, and then it's like they just kind of take you through a door, and you just start to release things that just no longer suit you, and just clearing out your energy.
Yeah.
But it's like you're kind of sitting in it, and you're letting the steam.
And it's hot as hell.
It's hot as hell. It's you're in the dark, the door is closed, and it's steamy, and you have to sit in that. You have to
for how long?
The ceremony lasts close to 3 hours.
Damn.
So between each door you come out.
Okay.
Well, you're not supposed to leave, but between each door they open they lift the curtain. You get a breather. But the first time I did have to, I was like, I need a minute, because you can feel claustrophobic, and I was like panicking, my heart was racing. I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I did it.
Yeah.
And then for some reason I was like called to do it again.
Yeah.
Unclear why, because it's hot. And I actually made it through the first door without getting out, without panicking. So like I felt like, I progressed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I had a little bit more discipline.
Yeah.
My nerves they were still I was still nervous, but like my anxiety wasn't as high.
Yeah.
And like when you come out, you just feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing that I've done. I have started to just like, you know, I've gotten into like slowly like meditating, like guided meditations. Like I do a shower meditation, this 10-minute shower meditation. Like I started cleansing my space and my inner, and it feels good. It feels good. Before I'd be like, what's y'all doing over there? Like, you know.
And I've house sat a couple of times for you. Your space is cute. It's calm.
Yeah.
It's calm.
And that's what I want. I just want to feel good. I want to feel at peace. Nothing is going to be perfect, but whatever I can do to just like keep my spirits up and like, you know, and to be able to be there for other people, like whatever that takes, like that's what I want. Y'all can leave that bad energy over there, because it's real. Like, that's real. And even in Tulum, I think one of the reasons I don't really do too much in the spiritual space is I just feel like there's so many, you know, in church they tell you like, you know, look out for the false prophet. Yeah. I'm like, look out for the false shaman too. You know, because there's a lot of predators. Yes. And they prey on people's vulnerabilities. And also, I just feel like everybody has a different level of, you know, spirituality that they want to tap into.
Yeah.
I'm cool with my little meditation and my sage.
Yeah, I'm ease into it.
And I take my scale every now and then.
Yeah.
Y'all can, the ayahuasca, I'm good.
So, let's switch gears for a minute. You know, there's going to be some people watching this who maybe might be traveling for the first time.
Yeah.
In their lives, or thinking about leaving, you know, going outside of their country for the first time. There might be some women, there might be some black women watching this, and they want to know what it's like traveling solo. How have you felt as a black woman in Mexico? Have you had any, like, how do you feel?
I feel good. Coming from New Orleans, you know, it's funny because now when I go home, I have so much anxiety. Yeah. You know, and I feel like we leave our homes, but we still, you know, we still stay up to date about what's happening, and we stay in touch. And, you know, I follow the local news, you know, social media accounts just to like, you know, be aware. And it's not pretty. It's not pretty, and it's dangerous. And, you know, of course, you have your family calling you like, oh, I saw that article about Mexico. And I'm like, but I saw the news today. Yeah. In New Orleans, y'all had a shooting over there, and you had one down the block from you. So what are we talking about? Mm-hmm. And that, whatever story you saw, that wasn't even here. Mm-hmm. You know, like, so I feel good. Obviously, yes, we have to be aware of our surroundings. No matter where you go, you gotta keep your head on a swivel. No matter where you go, you gotta mind your business. Yeah. No matter where you go. Yeah. But
are the Mexican people bothering you?
No, everybody's very sweet, and you know, yes,
they ain't checking for you.
Yeah, and you know, I've had a few microaggressions in certain situations because I do feel like Tulum can be kind of cliquey. Yeah, there's definitely a pretentious vibe, bougie, especially from you know, the European expats. Just calling it like I see it, but it's a vibe in certain spaces, not everywhere. Mm-hmm. So there can be, I feel like any microaggressions I've had have probably come from other expats that are, you know, not of color. And I've had a few in like certain spaces where, in my opinion, I feel like, of course, they cater to like the white customers more because we don't got to go down that rabbit hole. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But overall, I was like, look, my money is green, red, and purple too. Whatever the colors. So if you want it, you might want to come and get it. But overall, my experience has been great. Everybody's so nice. The locals are nice, and I just try to be kind and just remember, like, this is not my home. Right. And I think some expats, I think we forget that sometimes because we come in and we've taken up space and then also created more space that excludes the locals and, you know, the community. And you know, I think sometimes we just have to be reeled back in. Like, this is not our country. We are guests here.
Right.
And, you know, so we need to be respectful and kind and just open to, like, what they're feeling, too. Because, like, yeah, we're benefiting, but, like, what, you know, what are they getting out of this?
Yeah.
So.
Have you been anywhere else in Mexico?
Yes, I love Mexico City.
Yeah.
I even thought about moving there because it's very similar to New York.
That's what I've heard.
The Uber is cheap. Oh my God. That alone was enough to make me move.
What?
Like, I took an Uber from the airport, which was like a 25-minute ride to where we were going, and it was like $10.
Damn.
Exactly. So...
These things count.
Yes,
okay?
they do. But they have earthquakes, Yoli, and I was like, I'm not built for that.
Okay.
I'm like, here, I can manage a hurricane. I've been running from hurricanes all my life.
You have. But in New Orleans, that's
like
true.
literally all of my life. But an earthquake, I don't think I could manage. And like I mentioned, I drove to Valladolid, but I have a whole list of, like, I want to explore this country. There's so many places I want to go. Like, I have good friends in San Miguel. Like, I've never been to Oaxaca. I've never been to Guadalajara. I've never been to Merida. Like, there's so many places I want to visit. So,
just gonna put them on your list.
It's on my list.
Got nothing but time.
Yeah.
So there are going to be some people who are just traveling here. They want to know the best spots. Let's do some shout outs.
So you already know Asian Bodega all day.
Okay.
Those are my boys. The Bodega boys will get you right.
Mm-hmm.
I spend way too much time there. So they have a restaurant and they have a food truck at Palma Central. And I think Palma Central is great because there's so many, you know, different food trucks, and it's like, it's different from like a lot of the stuff you get in town. Like, there's a nice variety of, you know, different cuisines in the food truck. So I love Palma Central. And the food truck, the Asian bodega food truck is different from the restaurant. So
so you got to do it all.
You got to
do it all. You're also beach queen. So which beach clubs?
I like Delec.
Okay.
It's chill.
Yeah.
And at night the vibe is nice. It's beautiful. And they also have a pool, so like if there's some sargassum, which is seaweed, you know, if it's a little heavy on the seaweed, you got the pool, but you can still lay out, and it's chill. On the other side, on the public side, I do like Pokna.
Okay.
And they have the Asian restaurant Kigore, which is like the really good sushi there. So those would be my two picks for beach clubs.
Okay.
And then also I gotta shout out Heartwood. Yeah. And Arca is amazing too. If you want like a good meal on the beach that's not like the party vibe, like roasted negro, like you don't want the Instagram, you want like a good, nice meal. Yeah. Heartwood and Arca all day.
Where do you go for coffee, baked goods?
I don't really drink coffee, but I love Namino.
Okay.
Namino is...
So we getting some croissants.
Yes.
Some. Okay.
So good.
And favorite cenote or different water experience?
I love the lagoon.
Okay.
I actually haven't been to a cenote in a long time. Okay. Love the lagoon. So there's Neek, of course, which is pretty much where everyone goes to. Yeah. Or I guess Shein Khan, is that how you say it? I haven't been there in a long time, but Neek is great. It's actually one of the places where I had the microaggression.
Oh, okay, yes.
But
we are just gonna leave that alone.
You're gonna leave it alone. But it's a good time. The water's amazing. You know, they have a pretty decent menu. They have a full bar, and it's just like you really sit there and you're like, you know what? I can't complain about anything because I am so blessed.
This is my life
to be here. And that remember we took a trip. It was like a Tuesday, and we were all just like in the middle of the day. We went to the lagoon, and it was like I can't be upset about anything. I can't be mad at anything because I am beyond grateful that I can wake up, call my girls up, and say, "Let's go to the lagoon on a Tuesday and drink Aperol Spritz."
I mean, I don't know who the hell you think you are. So it was a
Tuesday, Yoli. You didn't have to work that day.
It was a Tuesday. You're right. Okay, let's have a serious discussion. Okay, this is like always on the mind. Okay, you are a young, beautiful, vivacious woman out here in these, wonderful streets. How do we deal with dating? What's the dating like when you're on the road? Like,
Yoli, what's a date? I don't know what that is. I am unclear.
All right, it's not all roses. We're trying to show you it's not all roses all the time. Okay.
I mean, I have not met anyone since I've been here. Granted, I am in and out because I go back to the States to work my shows, but I have not had much luck. Have you?
I have not.
Okay. And you've been here longer than me.
I have, but we're not going to complain because we can't have it all. Well, we can, but
yes, we can.
But it's in stages.
Yeah,
it's happening in stages.
I feel like soon.
Yeah.
I just want to bump into him on the wine aisle at Chedraui since there's no Whole Foods.
Okay.
So that's, I don't know. I don't know. I would. It would be nice to have a partner at some point, but I'm gonna just let the universe. The universe must be cooking up something real good for me because, child.
Just so folks know, we are out here. We are out here.
We are.
There is that hashtag Black Girls Travel Too.
Yes, we do.
We are out here and we're not waiting. So we're having fun in the meantime.
Yes.
So come catch up with us. So. Alex,
yes.
I always talk about sort of a designed life.
Okay.
And it sounds like you are designing your life. You have an amazing career. You're living in Tulum in the sun. You get to travel.
Yeah. I love the sun, y'all. I love the sun.
What advice would you give somebody who's thinking, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can leave that corporate job, or I don't think I can live this way, or I don't think I can find a remote job, or what would you say to them?
I would say, yes, you can. You can do it. And I would say just push yourself. I think we go through a lot of just self-sabotaging and imposter syndrome. I still go through that now, but there's got to be a point in your life where you're going to be like, you know what, you got to tell yourself I can do this. I want to try this out. Let me write this out. What's it going to look like if I make it? What's it going to look like if I don't? What are my options? Just write it out and then just fucking do it. Just fucking do it, because nothing's gonna wait for you. Time's not gonna wait for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna wait. So just, if you want it, do it. And if you feel like if you tell certain people they're gonna try to talk you out of it, don't tell them. Don't tell them. I told my family.
What did they say?
I told my family right before I left.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew.
You're
it's
happening.
I had so much anxiety about it.
Yeah.
I knew that there was no way that I could do this if I told them ahead of time.
Right.
Because it would just be constant conversations going back and forth about, why would you go there?
Yeah.
You're gonna get kidnapped. Da, 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 da. No, I'm not.
Yeah, she'd be kidnapped by Asian bodega.
Yes. All the time. And
she's been kidnapped by us having fun at the lagoon on a Tuesday.
So I told my mom, maybe a week or so before, and I was like, Mom, just so we're clear, I'm telling you to inform you. I'm not telling you because I'm looking for feedback or advice. I'm letting you know that your child is moving to another country and the decision has already been made. And of course, it's our mothers. She's gonna, they're
worry.
gonna say things. They're gonna worry, and I'm like, say your feelings, but I'm telling you right now, this is done. So there's no talking me out of it. My grandmother, oh my God, side-eyeing me, and then was like, well, I did a hot air balloon in Mexico City for New Year's. She's like, well, Al, I think I want to do the hot air balloon.
Okay.
Ma'am, you were just coming at my neck when I moved here. Now she ready to come, child. They ready.
Good. That's what we call progress.
Yeah. And my mom visited once. She had a great time. She didn't want to leave, child. I was like, but you got to go.
So there's steps to it. There's steps to it. Well, Alex, really admire you for the journey that you're on and the courage even through fear.
Yes.
You know, keep doing it.
No, girl, you keep doing you. 'Cause listen, y'all, when y'all come, find Yoli.
Come through.
She's a connector. She's a connector.
Thanks again, Alex.
Thank you, Yoli. This is amazing.
Yay.